Welcome to ChibiTales. It's raining glass. Hallelujah, it's raining glass. Today we've got some hilarious stories from r/MaliciousCompliance, including a story with the ultimate crossover, a Karen who is also a manager. Our first story comes from user Shira Kaisuri, who has the best possible response to "I need to talk to your manager" of all time. So I own a restaurant where I am also the head chef. One fine evening, this lady, whom I will be referring to as Karen, obviously, literally walks into the restaurant, notices we have a lot of people, goes up to our hostess and demands to be sat down immediately, all because she was alone. So because the hostess was having a long day, she suggested to Karen that she could sit at the bar, which always has a spot open. Of course, Karen refuses and demands to have a booth, a whole ass booth for one person. So the hostess reluctantly takes her to one of the empty booths that had literally just been cleaned so that we could seat one of our 4-person parties that had been waiting for 35 minutes. Now the server, who is one of my best waitresses ever, comes over to Karen and lets her know that it's going to be a wait to get her drinks and food. She places down Karen's eating utensils and a napkin and tells her that she would be right back, as one of the tables in her zone was ready to pay for their bill. The waitress leaves, quickly gets the check, comes back over immediately because the hostess had let her know that Karen was already being a problem, and goes to take her order. Karen then begins complaining about how long it took for her to come back. My waitress was fighting to stop herself from rolling her eyes as she swiftly took Karen's order. The waitress informs Karen that her drink would be out quickly, but myself and my staff were swamped with orders today and that it would be a little bit of a wait. My waitress puts up a rush order ticket for Karen's. I notice it and know that this is immediately going to be one of those problematic days. So I quickly get it done myself, make sure that the dish is absolutely fucking perfect, and also get it done in like 8 minutes. Waitress gets the dish and rushes it over to Karen, who scoffs at the poor service and how ridiculously long it took to get her food. She takes one nibble and she shoves it to the side, immediately flagging Veronica, telling her that the meat is undercooked and cold. My waitress comes back to let me know, and I send another one out, this time making sure to take longer on it. Karen gets it, this time complaining that it took 15 minutes to get it done, and complains yet again that it was cold, and the meat was undercooked yet again. At this point, I'm already walking out of the kitchen because I can practically hear Karen screaming at Veronica. So I come up to Karen and personally ask her what is the problem. To which Karen tells me, "Your chefs are fucking terrible. I demand that I get another dish right. I also demand to talk to your manager about the poor service you and the rest of your staff have shown." At this point, everyone in the restaurant is either struggling to keep themselves from laughing or outright coming up to this bitch themselves. So I courteously say, "Sure thing, ma'am," and proceed to stand still, to which confuses, baffles, and annoys her, to which she begins yelling, "Didn't you hear what I just said? I told you to go get your manager and replace the shit that you dare call food." I give her the most shit-eating grin of all time. Well, I could, but seeing as I am the owner of the restaurant, I'm afraid I can't do that. And as such, I am also refusing to serve you. Please vacate the premises before I call the authorities, ma'am. The look on her f***ing face was priceless, and she fled from the restaurant, never to be seen again. Okay, let's just say that the food wasn't the only thing that was roasted that night. What was the longest you waited for a table in a restaurant? Let me know in the comments. Our next story comes from user TinderGuy11, who let it rain all over his boss. Just that it wasn't money or water. So I was working as a bar manager in a student pub. The new owner and I hated each other, and it was actually scary just how deep that hatred ran. However, I was his fastest bartender and simply too popular amongst the other employees to just fire. So instead, he would always belittle me in front of clients or other staff members and find ways to make my job insufferable in hopes that I would simply quit. So the bar was at the front of the store, the exit was right by the front entrance, which led through a caged off alley, which led to the alley where we dumped all the garbage from the bar and restaurant. We had always carried the refuge out that way. It was easy, effective, and we didn't have to walk through the restaurant carrying garbage bins. So obviously, the new owner made the rational decision to start locking that way off and forbidding us from using it. This meant that we now had to walk through the restaurant where people were eating, up a mini stairwell, and through the kitchen to dump our garbage. I don't even know how many health and safety regulations this was violating. I had protested this at several staff meetings, explaining to him that us not being allowed to go that way doubled the trip, which left the bar a man short for double the time. It was also double the time for the bags to tear, considering they were usually filled with heavy and sometimes broken bottles, and mostly it was just unsanitary walking through the restaurant and kitchen with bags that were usually dripping fluids. And obviously, he refused and said we will continue doing it by his way. Cut forward a few nights later, and this place was packed, likely to overcapacity, and safety concerns weren't exactly a priority for this twat. I should also point out that the bar only had one garbage bin, which had filled up several beer bottles ago. The other bartenders had been ignoring it because, well, if you're carrying out garbage bags, then you're not serving customers. And if you're not serving customers, you're not making tips. So I decided to take this task upon myself and to venture out to the bar. I felt like Frodo carrying the ring to Mordor. As I mentioned, the bag was already over its recommended weight capacity, so I had to get it through this crowd fast, because I could feel it was going to tear quickly. Some of the glass had broken inside the bag too, and had started cutting into me as I tried carrying the bag from the bottom to keep it from tearing open, all the while fighting my way through a crowd of drunk students. I finally made it to the mini stairwell by the kitchen where the drunk owner and a random drunk girl were sitting on the stairs. The bag was now super close to tearing, and my hands were covered in blood from getting cut by the glass. I tried getting my stupid boss's attention, begging him to move so I could get past, but the boss ignored me. So I tried again. This time, he looked straight at me and then continued to ignore me anyway. Cue the malicious compliance as I lifted the bag right over him and the girl just for it to tear open right above them, drowning them both in dripping bottles of beer and pieces of shattered glass. I felt bad for the girl. She did not deserve this. And as for the owner, screw him. The kitchen staff had heard the crash and screams and ran out to clean the mess. I tried helping, but they told me to go back to the bar. A few seconds later, the owner came storming into the bar, screaming at me and asking me what possessed me to try and lift a garbage bag over the head of him and a customer. I innocently said that I wouldn't have had to if he had just let us go through the alley. The owner gave me the biggest death glare I have ever gotten, and then took the alley key off his keyring, threw it at me, and stormed out of the bar. So, even though I had been forced to cover a girl in glass to get my point across, I still walked out of this battle victorious. Never mess with a dude who has a flimsy bag filled with broken beer bottles. Never. What is the grossest trash you ever had to deal with? Comment below and let me know. Our last story comes from user Scott3496, who should honestly start a Money Hacks YouTube channel or something, because this dude has it all figured out. So I used to work in a disability shared accommodation agency. It's a job where you support 4 to 6 people with disabilities who share the accommodation. I was employed as a 0.75, meaning I worked 75% of what is considered full-time. I was working in a house I'll call Sunup. Sunup had 4 residents and 7 workers. Each house had a house supervisor that reported to the cluster manager, who managed 6 houses, and the cluster managers reported to the CEO. My house supervisor was a Karen, and I will most definitely call her by her title. One day, while I was working at Sunup, one resident was Tom. Tom was wheelchair-bound, non-verbal, that had a neurologist appointment in a few months. I received a call from the clinic advising me of a cancellation appointment the following day at 9:30 a.m. that is now available. I accepted the appointment, called the cluster manager as it was a day off for Karen, who asked me to work the following morning from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and take Tom to his appointment. I accepted, and the cluster manager said she will email Karen and let her know. The following day, I got to Sunup at 8:55 a.m., clocked on, and said hello to Tom as the previous workers left. I started to prepare Tom for the outing. Karen entered the house at 9:05 a.m. I walked down to meet her and was met with a, "What the hell are you doing here? You're not working today. Go home." I tried to explain and she said, "Did I stutter? I said go home. I didn't ask you to work, so I'm not paying you to work." Cue the malicious compliance. I walked over the docking station, clocked out, and said, "Okay, Karen, as you requested, I'm off. Oh, Tom has an appointment at 9:30 a.m. He's watching TV, and he's ready to go. Taxi will be here soon. Cluster manager emailed you with the details. I'll see you tomorrow for my next shift." As I left, she said, "Wait, what?" I closed the front door and walked to my car and drove off. Karen called my cell phone and said, "Why didn't you tell me about the appointment? Can you come back and take him? I'll authorize the pay." And I said, "No. Cluster manager asked me to come in today at 9 a.m. I started today at 9 a.m. You dismissed me at 9:05. As I was requested to work and I showed up at work, I'm getting paid the minimum 3.5 hours. Well, as you're getting paid, you need to come back in and work for it." Well, Karen, you did dismiss me and I clocked out. If I came back, I am no longer covered under the organization's insurance, as I am not clocked on. I'm entitled to 3.5 hours of work, and I will be paid the 3.5 hours. Just clock back on. Well, I can. The rules state I'm entitled to a 3-hour break between shifts. I don't know if you're aware, but I did just clock out, and after that shift, I am tired. Even if I did, that means you need to pay me an additional 3.5 hours. I don't think payroll will be happy paying me 7 hours for a 1-hour medical appointment. Finally, hurt and defeated, Karen said, "We will discuss this tomorrow." And then Karen hung up on me. I called the cluster manager and informed her of the situation. And even though she is a close friend of Karen, she acknowledged that I was in the right and ensured I'd be getting paid. Karen did not bring this up ever again. You should call that Karen a cactus, because she sounds like she's a real prick. What's the easiest money you've made in your life? Share those hacks in the comments below. And that was r/MaliciousCompliance. And if you like this video, be sure to smash that like button and to share this video with your friends, because it really helps my channel grow. And if you'd like to see more malicious compliance stories brought to life, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss my next video. Until then, good night, sleep tight, don't let shards of glass fall on your head by being an a-hole, aight?